Namaskar. Welcome to Ancient Wisdom. Entrainment. Entrainment is today's topic of discussion. On TED Talks, an interesting talk given by Dr. Yuri Hassan on the art of communication or communication science. Dr. Yuri Hassan is a neuroscientist and he studies by taking MRI of brains of people who speak and people who listen. His observation has been very insightful. The area by which we listen or we hear is very different from the area that we talk from. So, when he did MRI of people in congregation and the speaker also, what he was expecting was that in case of listeners, different area of the brain would be lighted, the audible area, the area from which they were hearing or listening. And in case of speaker, the area from which he was talking would be lighted. And this indeed was the case for the first couple of minutes of the speech. And interestingly, after the first couple of minutes, and the talk was very interesting, the speaker was a master speaker, he realized that the MRIs have changed. Both of the MRIs have changed, and interestingly, both the MRIs of the speaker as well as the listeners are now same. So the same areas of the brain are lighted, whether it is the audience or it is the speaker. And the audience is not speaking, audience is quiet, but still its area of listening is lighted. The speaker is speaking, he is not listening, but that area too is lighted. So here Dr. Hassan puts forward his theory that what he is saying is entrainment. The brains have connected on a esoteric level and they are communicating to each other. In fact, he says communication is said to be established when the two brains start showing the same areas lighted up. In a way, the two brains are synchronized, and only after synchronization the process of communication starts. They are vibrating, so to say, with the same frequency, and whatever the speaker is saying, the audience is lapping it up. Very interesting. And now, where does the ancient wisdom come in? I will come to that. Before I will give that example. If you see a child and mother speaking or communicating, an infant, the mother generally is talking all gibberish, bobde bol, and the child is repeating that. Child is repeating because it cannot speak fluently, but the mother too is repeating it. In a way, the child is repeating it, and this interestingly is the process of entrainment or startup of communication. This is the process which triggers the brain to brain communication based on vibrations, not based on meanings. And the child starts listening to its mother's voice and then obeys the commands or whatever he understands. And this whole process is called as entrainment. And now let us go back to our educational practices. Before we start learning or any course, there is always an invocation. Either it is Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Or it is Om Sahanavavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And what does this 1 minute of invocation do? It does the entrainment. This is the invocation which is known to everybody, done in the beginning of each learning session, and with this invocation the brains of the student as well as the teacher come on the same wavelength. They begin to respond to each other, that is synchronize with each other, and then the study begins. And that is why the study is deeper, because the communication is effective. And that is ancient wisdom for you. See you tomorrow. Namaskar.